Hi folks, and welcome back to Bougie Comfort Food. I'm your hostess, Mary Landry, and today we're going to make one of my favorite recipes. Now this is my own recipe, so understand some of these things are spiced a little differently, are made a little bit differently than what you may be accustomed to. But today we're going to make shrimp and pasta in a lemon garlic cream sauce with mushrooms and green onions. And in addition to that, I'm going to show you how to make some of the best homemade garlic bread you've ever eaten in your life. It is Parmesan garlic bread with parsley in it, just fantastic. So let's get to it. Your first step today is you need 1.5 pounds of peeled, deveined shrimp. Now, in case you're wondering, well, what's the difference between that and just any frozen shrimp? First of all, peelings are the big issue. The second thing is, for those of you who do not know what the vein in a shrimp is, the most delicate way to put this is, it's the poop chute. So, what you always want to do is make sure that poop chute is gone from your shrimp. Now, even when you get them peeled and deveined, sometimes you may have a remnant of that chute left in there and you want to get that out. So I'm going to show you today how to butterfly shrimp. Mine are already thawed and peeled and deveined, but we're going to go through and butterfly them open and get them ready to roll. Are we ready? Okay guys, hang tight with me. Here we go. So the first thing you want to do is take your shrimp and hook it on your first 2 fingers and kind of steady it with your thumb. You're going to take your knife, go into it, but not all the way through it, and just kind of roll that shrimp up your fingers. See how easy that was? And look at that. Pretty butterflied shrimp. Now, I've already prepared most of them, so we're just going to do these last 2 just to show you that technique one more time. Over the fingers, cut down into it, right on through to the bottom of the tail. See where we are? Okay. And then you just kind of open them up, make sure they open. Now, if you have a little teeny part of that vein, and this one did, see? Right there. You just tip it out with the end of your knife. All right. Now, as I said, I've already gotten 1.5 pounds done for you. So they're in my bowl. Let's get to it. First thing you're going to do is you need a stick of butter after you've peeled and deveined your shrimp. Now this butter does not have to be set out on the counter. Remember how we talked about this in other videos about softening your butter ahead of time. We've done that with the cookie nom noms and I believe one other video. I can't think right now, but that's okay. And please remember, if you like this video, give us a like. If you haven't subscribed yet and you decide, woo, this is the kind of stuff I want to see, then go ahead and subscribe to our channel. We have quite a few recipes up from September and October. And this one's coming to you at the beginning of November. Now, I like to just cut it into pats of butter because it makes it easier for them to melt in the pan. So we're just going to give those a quick little, ½ tablespoon dice on that to where it'll come out and melt a little easier. In addition to this stick of butter, which is ½ cup of butter, now you can use margarine, but remember, it is corn oil and it will burn easier. So I usually suggest using real butter, but then again, we're also using heavy whipping cream. So if you're watching your fats, this is probably not your meal. All right, in addition to that, in our pan, we are going to put a tablespoon of minced garlic. And it can be a heaping tablespoon because, well, I like garlic. If you don't like garlic so much, you can step it down to a regular tablespoon. But trust me, you're going to want that garlic in this sauce. Now, our next ingredient, because our house guest tonight for dinner is not a spice girl, we're going to only use 1 tablespoon of Zatarain's liquid shrimp and crab boil. Now you're thinking, oh, you're going to put water in here. Nope, not doing it. But trust me, a tablespoon will go a long way And like I said, my house guest tonight is not a girl who handles spice well. So we're only going to go with the tablespoon. If you like yours Cajun style, and believe me, I like my Cajun style, you can put 2 tablespoons in there and you won't go wrong. You'll have a nice spicy shrimp dish. Okay guys, so we've got a tablespoon of shrimp and crab boil, a heaping tablespoon of minced garlic, and a ½ cup of butter. We're going to get that on the stove. I'm going to put it on medium-high heat so we can get it going. In addition to that, you're going to add 1/4 cup of lemon juice to that pan. Remember I said no water, but lemon juice doesn't count. That lemon will soak into that shrimp and just make it like you wouldn't believe. Now, this is a very easy recipe. Like I said, it's one I made myself. And we do it in stages. So you'll have to pull off your shrimp, and then you'll do your vegetables and put your shrimp back in. And you're also going to put heavy cream, and you're going to put a cup's worth of Parmesan cheese when it comes time. That Parmesan cheese is what you're going to use to thicken up this sauce. It also thickens more once it's standing, so don't panic if yours looks a little wet. It's okay. All right, didn't have all my utensils out today, but you know, that's how it is some days. All right, so we're getting our butter melting in this pan, and as soon as we get it melted, it's going to be time to put our shrimp in. Now, for anyone who's never cooked shrimp before, shrimp is one of those things that is sort of translucent. You can kind of see the edges through it. And once it's cooked, and you know it's finally cooked, when that shrimp turns white and pink, it does not matter what color it started out, it'll turn white and pink, trust me. Especially with this shrimp and crab boil going on. All right, so we're going to get this butter melted in this pan. Now, once you get this butter melted and you're ready to really start rocking and rolling with this, you're going to need a vent fan on, trust me. Now, it may be a little harder to hear me, and I apologize, and I'll try to make sure I'm really clear for you. But you want that vent fan on because, trust me, all that cayenne and sassafras and that crab boil will make you cough like you've never seen. And anyone who is from down south Louisiana, they certainly know it. Or anyone who's ever boiled crawfish, you stand too close to that pot and you're going to know it. All right, guys, it's time to put our shrimp in. So we're just going to get our shrimp into that lemon and butter and garlic. Going to get it all settled in there. And you don't need to move it around too much. Just make sure it doesn't stick. We're going to give a quick rinse to that bowl so it doesn't end up too yucky. Like I said, these cook pretty quickly, so you don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, it's going to take forever. But we're going to do this video in stages and try to get through it all because this is going to be one of our longer videos. I know everybody is used to about a 10 to 30 minute video. This one may run a little bit longer. So just hang tight with us because trust me, the end result is worth every minute. All right, we're going to kick that temp up just a hair so that we can get it going. Because my house guest is absolutely hungry at this point, I'm betting. But we had a little powwow and talking about various things going on and holidays coming up and what we were doing and just visiting. And time got away from me tonight. But that's okay. We're going to make everything be all right. All right, now I'm going to put a lid on this, not because you have to, but that helps keep that heat in and helps get us ready. While I've got that lid on there, I'm going to start getting all my vegetables open and ready to go. Now the vegetables you're going to need is an 8-ounce thing of mushrooms. Excuse me. And we have talked about green onions before. Chopping up green onions. You need about a ½ cup to a cup of green onions. So 8 ounces of sliced mushrooms, and about a half cup to a cup of green onions. Those green onions really give you some fresh flavor in here. You see our shrimp are already starting to turn. We're going to keep them moving around so they don't stick. We're also putting that lid on there so I don't get too choked up to talk to you tonight. But this one is definitely a crowd favorite. I've been making this for about 10 years. And for a while, I made this as my birthday dinner every year for about 4 or 5 years. And I know you're probably thinking, made it for your birthday dinner, you didn't go out to eat? Nope, didn't go out to eat. It wasn't in our budget. This was right after my husband passed, and just didn't have it in our budget to take all 4 of us out for a nice dinner. So I came up with this recipe because I decided I wanted shrimp and pasta. And I figured, how hard could it be to make your own shrimp and pasta recipe? And I found out it wasn't that hard. Not if you knew what you were doing around the kitchen. Now our shrimp are starting to turn white and pink, and that's what we want to see, and I'm going to show it to you in just a second after I make sure all of them are good and ready. So we're going to put a lid on it for another couple of seconds. Alright, so your garlic bread, what you want to do is let your butter sit out for a little while and get a little soft. You can see I can squish that stick of butter. That's what we want. The next thing you're going to do with that garlic bread, now I'm going to show you all of this once we get it going in the pot, once we get our penne pasta going. And that is the other thing you need. You need a pound of penne pasta. I just use Great Value brand. You can use whatever brand you choose, whatever's available, whatever store you shop at. And the other thing that you have in this shrimp and pasta is a quart of heavy whipping cream. And I'm just making sure mine's nice and fresh, because nobody wants whipping cream, you know? Alright, let's check on our shrimp. Yes, indeed, they are ready to come out of this pot. So, we're going to take our shrimp, and what I do is I get a spatula because it's just easier, and you get less of the juice into it. So you're just going to take those shrimp out, and see how nice and white and pink they are? That is what we're looking for, folks. And just set them in a bowl off to the side. You want to leave all the liquid in your pan, because that's what you're going to cook your mushrooms and your onions with, and they're going to get all that flavor from that crab boil and from your shrimp. So, to our hot skillet, we're adding that half cup to a cup of green onions, and we're going to put in all 8 ounces of sliced mushrooms. Whew! Love mushrooms. Those are one of my favorites. Although those of you who are on this channel, y'all know. Y'all know. And I would love to thank all the people who have already subscribed to us. I'm so excited, and I get so excited every time we get a new subscriber, because that way, that's somebody who thinks that our content is worth watching again, or enjoyed the video. We've had several people look over Mongolian beef. That was our first one. Like I said, this one was intended to be our first, but gremlins ate it, so we didn't have it. Now, we're going to put that lid on there and gently cook those mushrooms in that butter and lemon and those onions so that they're ready to go. And you can see, look how pretty that shrimp is. See how nice and pretty and a little light pink it is? That's what you're looking for. Okay, guys, give me a second. Let me get a sip of some water, because I'm telling you, the crab boil's getting me. I'll be right back. Okay, folks, so now we're going to go into our skillet. Our mushrooms are bubbling along nicely. You don't want to overcook your mushrooms, but you do want them to be tender. So, I got to get out a bowl for those. I forgot to get out a bowl for my veggies. Let's get out my grandma's bowl today. Alrighty. So, after we have got our mushrooms to where they're kind of softened, if you can put a spatula through them, they're done. So, We're going to take our green onions and our mushrooms out of the liquid and put them off into a bowl. Remember, we're trying to leave as much liquid behind, so you see me using my spatula to get those scooped up. If you have a slotted spoon, that's fine too. I'm just using a spatula and I didn't want to dirty up too many utensils. That's just how I roll. All right, let's get all the goodies out of this pan, because our goodies are all our vegetable matter. Get those up, and boy, if you could smell, woo, you can smell cayenne in here. You can definitely smell that crab boil. All right, we are almost done getting all of our vegetables out of here. Now, if you leave some behind, don't panic. But just know if you leave too much mushroom or onion, the onions won't be as big of an issue, but those mushrooms will get kind of rubbery if you leave them behind. So I try to get as much out as I can. But if you leave a little bit, don't panic. It's okay. Cooking does not have to be perfect. It just has a rhythm. Okay? So we're going to put our butter, crawfish boil, and our lemon juice back onto the stove. And to that, we're going to add a cup of grated Parmesan cheese. Woo! That Parmesan cheese is getting away from me. Y'all see that, right? That's okay. Clean hands in the kitchen mean I can touch a little bit of it and we're good. All right, so to that, we're going to add 1 quart of whipping cream, heavy whipping cream. Now that's going to take the temp of your skillet way down, and that's okay. And we're going to put in that cup of Parmesan cheese. Now this is the part that takes the most attention, okay? I would suggest this not be a recipe for our little bears to try. But this is the time when your recipe needs the most love, okay? So show it some love and make sure you keep that liquid moving. If you do not, your cream is going to scorch to the bottom of your skillet. If you scorch that cream, you have ruined this sauce. Trust me. There is no coming back from scorched cream. And that Parmesan cheese will burn to the bottom of your pan. So you want to kind of go easy and gentle, but we're trying to get it in there. And that Parmesan cheese is going to help thicken up that heavy cream. And we're just going to keep it moving until it starts getting a little thicker. So just keep it moving in the pan. I just use a whisk, a little wire whisk, and just keep it moving. Whole time we're going. Now understand, as it starts to cool, it will thicken. So don't panic that your sauce looks kind of runny at first. Because trust me, once you get it in that pasta and get it rolling, it's going to thicken up as it sits. So you don't want to serve this fresh out the pan, throw it on the table, and go. You want to let it sit a little bit so it gels a little bit. Like I said, we're going to keep that cream moving, folks. Keep it moving. And once you start seeing it start to thicken up a little bit, that's going to be your cue to add your shrimp and your vegetables back in. Just keep that sauce moving. You're going to end up with a very full skillet in just a few minutes when you add all that back in. If you have a deeper skillet than I do, you might want to use it. But my skillet works just fine. We've made this recipe many a days. In fact, this was last year's Thanksgiving dinner because I got to the store, we got payday the day before Thanksgiving, and I didn't have time enough to get a turkey to fall. And I talked to my wife, and she agreed with me. She'd rather eat shrimp and pasta anyway. So I got all the stuff and made shrimp and pasta. Nobody was after shrimp that day unless they were making gumbo. So, just keep it going. It's going to start kind of frothing and that's okay. That's all right. That's when you know it's actually starting to warm up and that you've gotten it up to temp. You're basically simmering this, but not quite. You want it just below a simmer. And you can see my liquid is starting to thicken up, so it is getting there. It is getting to that point. So we're just going to keep it moving. This is one you do not want to let it rest for too long. You want to keep it moving. But as you can see, it's already starting to thicken up from that cheese getting incorporated in it. It just takes a lot of love to stand there and keep it moving. And remember, you've got that crab boil in here and the lemon juice. And you might be thinking, oh my gosh, you're making buttermilk. No, I'm not making buttermilk, I promise you. I promise you. I am not making buttermilk. Although you can take vinegar and milk and make buttermilk. But me personally, I'll just go buy some buttermilk if I need it that bad. I don't usually keep whole milk or heavy whipping cream around the house unless I'm going to cook with it. Alright, we're just going to keep that moving, and it's starting to thicken up nicely, bubbling and frothing a little bit. That's what we're looking for. Just going to keep it moving. Keep it moving. Now, like I said, you're going to start seeing it. See how it's like not dropping immediately off that whisk? That's what we're looking for. Looking for it to get nice and thick. Because who wants a runny sauce? That's called gravy. And even then, I want my gravy to have a little bit of leg to it. Alright, so we're going to keep that cream sauce moving. You can see it's bubbling up nice. If you're worried about it, you can turn that temp down to medium. But you got to keep it moving, kids. If you don't, that Parmesan cheese is going to burn to the bottom of your pan because it settles out of this cream. Alright, we got a nice bubble going on it now. Nice simmer going on it. So, my cream is starting to come together. See how it's slowly dropping off of it now? That's what we want to see. We're going to keep it moving, keep it moving. The more you cook it down, the less liquid it has in it. And you can see mine's starting to bubble up and get rowdy on me. That's okay. We're going to turn it down to medium-low. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. Alright, you see how it's slowly dripping now? It's not really dripping as fast as it was. We're almost there, guys. Like I said, this one's a labor of love. You got to keep it moving. If you have a second set of hands in the kitchen, this is that time when it's really good to have them, because you can have them stirring while you're getting other things going. Alright. So, as you can see, every time I pull it up, it gets thicker and thicker. Alright guys, we're almost there. So, I'm going to pull it off the heat for a second so I can get a good gauge on how thick it's getting. See how it's dripping a little slower? That's what we're looking for. Now comes the time we're going to put everything right back in it. So give me a minute, I'll be right back with you. Alright guys, we're going to gently add our veggies. And you can see there's some liquid in there, that's okay. That's just going to bolster that cream sauce. Going to add our veggies back in. We're going to add our shrimp back in. Just gently, gently. Because boy, you don't want to get sloshed with this liquid. It's hot, hot, hot. You want to talk fires of hell? That's a fires of hell moment. Alright. So as you can see, my skillet is way full. That's okay. We're going to gently move it around now, because this is pretty much done. Woo! Some of it sloshed on that burner and it does not like it. Just gently move it around. Get it all incorporated. And like I said, you can see the consistency is kind of thick. It's like thick milk. A little heavier than the cream is. That's what we want. All right. So we got all our veggies and all our shrimp back in that pot. And you can see how full my skillet ends up. All right, kids, at that point, this is the point where we're going to put a lid on her. Take her off the heat. And what we're going to do is I'm going to bump that heat on up to high and get my water started for my pasta. And while that water's going, we're going to show you how to make garlic bread. This is homemade garlic bread. This is not frozen stuff. It's not anything funky. So what you're going to need, now I like Italian loaves because they hold the stuff in there a little bit better, but you can use a French bread, you can use whatever kind of bread you really like. So I've got an Italian loaf, nice big fresh bread loaf, and what you're going to do is lay your hand on the top of it, and you are going to go lengthways. You need a serrated knife to go through this bread. If you watched French bread pizza, you're going to see that. Same concept. We're still cutting bread. You can see I butchered that edge a little bit, but it's going to be okay. It's all going to end up good. All right, so we're going to lay our bread open and set it off to the side. Now what we need is that softened loaf, that softened stick of butter I told you about. And we're going to put that down. I didn't pull out a bowl. I'm just going to use a Tupperware because if I don't use all of it, it's no big deal. I can always eat this later. I mean, I cooked steaks in some leftover stuff the last time. So to that stick of butter, you're adding a tablespoon of minced garlic. Remember, I love garlic. And to that, we're also going to add half a cup of Parmesan cheese. So it's Parmesan garlic bread, folks. Can't beat it with a stick. Okay, and to that also, we are going to add, now since I had wet stuff in my last one, we're going to get a dry measure. We're also going to add 1 tablespoon of parsley flakes. Now you can use fresh parsley and dice it up whatever pretty way you want to, that's fine. But dried works just as well. So that was a tablespoon of garlic, half a cup of cheese, and a tablespoon of parsley flakes. Alright guys, and then all you got to do is just mix that up real well. That's why we softened that butter, so it would be easier. And just kind of mash it all around in there. Make sure you see the green go to the bottom. That way you know it got mixed well. And you're just kind of pushing the butter around in there so that it takes in the garlic and takes in the Parmesan and takes in the parsley. Just kind of scoop it around and push it down. See how we did that? Scoop it around, push it down. Make sure that your butter gets nasty looking, because nasty is good in this case. Alright, I'm going to move all that butter around, make sure it's all good and incorporated. Now at this point, this is the easy part. You've gotten that butter all mixed around in with that garlic and that parsley and that cheese. Ooh, it's going to be good stuff. So we're going to come back to our garlic loaf, our loaf of bread. Now I like to put quite a bit in there. You can see that's a little more than half, but that's okay, because I'm going to move all that around. Get a good slathering on each side. It won't matter, because we're going to put this loaf together when we bake it. So we're going to have it cut open, put all our garlic butter down, and then we're going to close it up, put it in full, and you're going to put this in a 350-degree oven for 15 minutes. So, smooth it all around. Give that bread a lot of love, folks. Give it some love. This, like I said, is one of my favorite meals. It has pasta, it has shrimp, it has mushrooms, lots of garlic bread, and I usually serve all of this with my garlic bread and a nice Caesar salad. So I bought a Caesar salad kit from the store. So we're going to have a humdinger of a dinner. And I'm telling you, by the time all this is done, we're going to be hungry for it. All right. So, that is your garlic loaf. You can see, you know, I just kind of give some love. Make sure you get all those corners, because those are the ones where you're really going to want it. Okay. Look at that. Doesn't that look good? Look at that. And you can see that parsley. You can see the garlic up close. You might not be able to see it in the camera, but you can see it up close, trust me. Alright guys, so all we're going to do is take our lid, put it back on the bread, get us a nice big piece of foil. You want that foil to be about twice the size of your bread. Then put it in there on the shiny side. We're going to fold it up, double side out, fold up the sides. You just roll them in like you're rolling toothpaste. Okay. There we go. And we're going to throw those in our oven. And as soon as my pasta is up to boil, we'll be right back with you. All right, hang tight. All right, folks, so our water's finally boiling. So we're going to throw in a pound of penne pasta and give that a good stir, because you do not want your pasta to stick to the bottom. Now, some people salt their water, but I don't add any extra salt to mine. I know that it lowers the heating temperature for your water, so it doesn't have to be as high to boil, and that's okay. But I don't feel the need, so it's all good. And you're going to let that penne pasta, because it's a thicker pasta, it's going to cook for 9 to 11 minutes, which means about 2 minutes after we take our bread out, we're going to be ready for that pasta. Now you're going to keep a half an eye on that pasta and make sure it doesn't stick, so we're going to stir it occasionally. So for the next 9 minutes, we're just going to talk and get ready to roll, okay? Now, like I said, we're going to have this shrimp and pasta in a nice big bowl, and we're going to make a, I'm going to make a Caesar salad to go along with it. Now, my Caesar salad's bought, don't judge me, but I've got out some Parmesan cheese to go on top of our pasta when we get ready to serve it. And like I said, letting that pasta sauce sit for a while is what's going to make it get thicker for you. And when I start putting it over that pasta, you're going to understand why we let it sit while we got our bread and our pasta going. Now, like I said, it's off the heat, so it's not cooking anymore, but it's still going to be plenty warm. And when it's on top of this hot pasta, you'll know it. It's okay. All right. So, I hope that you folks are going to enjoy this meal when you try it out for yourself. Like I said, it is an original recipe. I am not a chef. I am just a home cook. And that's okay. Everybody does not have to have a specialty in life. I just like to eat, so I learned how to cook. So, and if you're one of our small bears who has enjoyed our channel and has enjoyed watching us cook, this one might be one for Mama to help you with, or Daddy to help you with. There is nothing wrong with that, getting out a cookbook, taking a look, and figuring out what you might want to cook. The first thing I ever cooked as a home cook when I was 8 years old was spaghetti and meat sauce. I looked at the recipe, I asked my dad to get all the ingredients for it, wrote it all down for him, and he got all the ingredients that we needed, and I decided I was going to cook it. Now, at that time in my life, I was not big on onions, I was not big on garlic, and it had both of them in it. So what I did instead was I cut down on some of that, because I knew you had to have it for flavor. But my dad said that my spaghetti was just fine. So don't be afraid to try something new. And if you find a recipe and it just really doesn't suit your tastes, it's okay. You can make things different. Now, I did want to point out that anybody who might be allergic to shrimp, you can substitute chicken in this recipe. You're going to dice that chicken breast up, skinless, boneless chicken breast up into 1-inch cubes, and you'll cook it like you did your shrimp. It's going to turn white. It's not going to be pink, of course. If it's pink, you didn't cook it long enough. But you can substitute chicken for shrimp. You're still going to use 1.5 pounds, just like you did for the shrimp. So the meat amount is still the same. You can also, if you don't like mushrooms, say you like instead spinach. Fresh spinach works in this recipe too. If you don't like spinach, you can also, but if I were going to do spinach, I will tell you, get you some sun-dried tomatoes and dice them up. Throw them in there so it's spinach and tomato. Really good. We've done that one. I've also done this one with asparagus, fresh asparagus, the sun-dried tomatoes, and mushrooms in it. If you want more veggies in it, that's okay. Makes a really good shrimp scampi. And so just know you could put peas and carrots in this. There's options. If you're doing chicken, try putting half a bag of frozen peas in there and half a bag of frozen carrots. You can also do it, get the peas and carrot blend and put about half a bag in there. That ought to be enough veggies for you. And you're going to add that to your chicken. You know, once you pull your chicken out, you're going to do peas and carrots. Don't do the green onions for that one. Okay, guys. So we're going to keep this pasta moving, making sure it doesn't stick to the bottom of our pot. Like I said, we're going to need about 2 extra minutes once that bread comes out. And our bread is due out in 3.5 minutes. So we hope that you're enjoying this episode. We hope that you'll go and check out some of our other ones. Our first one on this channel was Mongolian beef in a slow cooker in a crock pot. We've also done stuffed chicken breast 2 ways. That one's a favorite. I've got twice baked potatoes. For those of you who just want a little something, that's a little something. And you can eat those for breakfast. Well, maybe not breakfast, but my wife ate it with eggs. So you could eat it for breakfast. And we have them for lunch and dinner. But give me just a minute and I'll be right back with you. We're back. Our pasta has about 3 minutes left on it, and our bread only has a minute left in the oven. So that bread's about to come out. We're going to get a good slice on it and get a good look at it. So, in this episode, you've not only gotten shrimp and pasta, but my homemade garlic bread, Parmesan garlic bread. So it's a 2-for-1 tonight. But that's okay, guys. Now, as I said, I've got my salad kit ready. So I'm going to go ahead and give my salad a quick toss so that we're ready to eat in just a few minutes, because my house guest says she is starving smelling this food cooking, which makes me excited. So I've got another one of my grandma's bowls. I know that a lot of you have probably also cooked over time. Woo! This one might be a little more than grandma's bowl can handle. That's all right. We'll transfer it over. Let me get a big Tupperware out. That's my bread fixing to come out that oven. Let's get a big. So we're going to get out a big bowl for our salad. Like I said, I underestimated family size to be a little bit smaller than I expected. That's okay. I got a nice big Tupperware bowl. We'll put that big old salad in there and make that big boy happy. All right, let's get that bread out the oven. And remember, our pasta goes for about another 2 minutes. You want to get it al dente, which means to the tooth in Italian. So, you want that pasta to be to the tooth. That means And when you bite it, it doesn't just mush. And the way you test this is you're going to pull out one strand of pasta and you'll bite it. Now I can tell mine is not quite there, so we are going to give it that extra minute in that bowl of water. So while we're doing that, we can get our salad running. Okay. Pop open the cheese. I love that it comes with these Parmesan shreds. That makes that salad so much better. Parmesan shreds. Lots of Parmesan tonight. But folks, if you have watched my channel before, you know I love cheese. It also comes with some cracked black pepper. So we're going to sprinkle that on through there. Get that salad going. Because boy, we're going to be ready to eat in a minute. Now I always think that these don't have quite enough dressing in them, but we can make the adjustments as we need to once we get it in the bowl. Get all that dressing out of that packet. And like I said, I'm probably going to add a little bit of Cesar dressing because we keep that on hand. Of course, you're not watching me to watch a packaged salad get made, but that's okay. We're just killing a few minutes, kavitzing a little bit until we can cut up that bread. Because I don't want to put my hands on it yet because it's going to be volcanic. So we'll just go ahead and make our salad while we're talking and keeping it going. Woo! Looks like I missed the boat on this one. Doesn't look like we have another thing of Cesar, so we're just going to have to make do with what we got. Alright, so I got my salad all ready. I'll give that a quick stir. I like using a pasta fork. I don't know about y'all. I'm sure some of y'all have something bigger and better for that. You know, maybe even have the salad tools you're supposed to. I don't. I'm not going to lie to you. But that's okay. Pasta forks work just as well, trust me. I've been using them for 20-something years, so it's all good. Alright, we're going to get a good stir on that salad, get it all mixed up, so that somebody doesn't get a mouthful of Cesar and nothing else. And that everybody gets some Cesar dressing on their salad. I'm going to move some of that over here. Get that tossed around real nice. Alright, that one's ready to roll. Alright, so that salad's good. It is time to pour our pasta off. Now look, your handles of your pot may get hot, but mine luckily stay pretty cold. Let me dump this out. And we're going to give that pasta a quick shake, because one thing about penne is it will hold water in it. So make sure you give it a quick shake in that colander, okay? Alright guys. So, whew, I'm getting a steamy facial today. My pores are going to look fantastic. Okay, so we're going to take our pasta, throw it in a bowl. Look at all that pretty pasta. I love pasta. How many of y'all like pasta? I bet I have a few folks who might like it. Okay, now remember, we've had our shrimp and garlic cream sauce off the burner and sitting over there. Woo, let's see if I can get this in here without making a mess. Doubt it, but that's okay. Nobody's watching, and well, y'all are watching, but nobody's here to tattle on me, so it's okay. Alright guys, you're going to carefully take that pasta sauce. Now you see it's still pretty liquid, but trust me, once it gets in there with that hot pasta, it is going to solidify. You do not have to worry that you've just poured a bunch of liquid over your dinner. Once it cools a little bit from sitting out, it's going to be okay. The more it sits, the thicker it gets. So that is the key point here. Then get a little water going in our skillet. We're going to get in here and mix that pasta up. Get in here, mix that pasta in. And remember, that pasta is going to take in some of that cream sauce, and the starches from the pasta will also help it thicken. And you'll notice I didn't put any cornstarch in this. I didn't put any flour in there. No base for a gravy type thing going on. But trust me, this will set up, and once it goes into the fridge, it will become solid. So just know, once it cools down just a hair, and right now we wouldn't want to serve this to our guests anyway, it's a little too hot. That's heat, but not spice. I'm going to turn off this fan and make it a little easier so I don't have to holler quite as loud. All right, guys. So, as you can see, it's already starting to thicken up with the starch from that pasta. See how it's already getting a little thicker? And you can see it's still a little liquid, but that's okay. Trust me, it's all going to work out. And if it's not perfect, don't panic. Second day pasta is good too. And you can see that made a big old bowl of pasta. Big old bowl. So, let's get on to that garlic bread. Put our pasta off to the side, let it cool a little bit. Now, let's unwrap that Parmesan garlic bread. I know y'all are waiting to see that one. Okay. And here she comes. Ooh-wee! I wish you had smell-o-vision, because you would love the smell of this bread. So we're going to take it out of the foil, because you can use that foil to store it later in your leftovers. So just set your foil off to the side. You're okay. All right. You ready? We're going to get some nice big hunks of garlic bread going. You hear that crust going, right? I know you can hear it while I'm cutting through it. Nice and crisp. Ooh, one got away. That's one for the chef. All right. You can taste the Parmesan in there. All that butter, the garlic. It is a perfect mix. All right. Now, we like a lot of garlic bread around here, so I've cut mine pretty big. You don't have to cut it that big. But let's show you a peek inside that bread. You ready? You can already see all the cheese and the garlic and everything. Look at that. All the ooey gooey goodness. Ooh, that's going to be some good stuff, man. Good stuff. All right, folks. So, this has been the shrimp and pasta in a lemon garlic cream sauce with homemade garlic bread. And I've got a nice big Caesar salad over here. Now when you go to plate this, I suggest plating it with a big old pile of pasta. Put you some Parmesan cheese over the top of it. And throw you some of this Caesar salad and some garlic bread, and you have got a winner. All right, and you can see, look at all that goodness in that. Woo-wee, you see all those mushrooms and the shrimp and the onion in there. Whoo, good stuff. And you can see it's already starting to thicken up. Get thick in there. And that's what you want. Like I said, the more it stands, or once it's chilled, it's going to be solid. Now, when you go to reheat this, just put it on a plate, put it in your microwave, do it for a minute or two, depending on how high your microwave runs, and that sauce will go back to being a liquid, or mostly liquid. All right, gang. This has been Bougie Comfort Food. I'm Mary Landry, your host. I hope you have a great rest of your night and a very blessed week. Thank you for joining us. Bye now.
Save a place for me. I'll be